All right, welcome to the new week. Let's go ahead and talk about the Bitcoin price action as well as some other data points in the market to point to where we are likely to go in the short or long-term future. First things first, we talked about how we had this big volume level from yesterday at around $63,000 that needed to get flipped into support if we were going to maintain that bullish structure. Luckily, we have flipped it into support, but we have not escaped this volume range. So there's a big volume cluster between this big box, the gray box that I have here on the chart. You jump out here to the daily time frame, looking at the entire range Bitcoin has been in throughout the last almost year at this point, and you can see big volume cluster from around $62,500 to $64,500. So we do really need to flip $64,500 into support to get full confirmation here. Essentially, we just tap the value area high of this high volume cluster here on the chart, which is not a bad sign, right? We accepted the volume, tapped value area high, now testing value area low in the big point of control. That is where we want to find support to actually get us the momentum to break out and backtest value area high back into support. So we definitely need to see the whole cluster get flipped into support. So far, we don't have that confirmation yet, but this is much better than sitting down below all of this volume like we were yesterday. We got some big support that we're sitting right on top of right now, and there's good reason to believe that we are going to go ahead and march up to all-time highs now. You can see on the RSI we got some pretty drastic lower highs there, whereas we do have higher highs on price. So bear div on the hourly time frame, but you also got bull divs, hidden bull divs, in fact, higher lows on price, lower lows on RSI. So decide for yourself which confluence you want to use. Normally the hidden bull divs play out more than the regular bear divs, but it's pretty close to 50-50 when it just comes to that confluence. We jump over here to trading light and you can see there is more selling pressure than anything, right? In the order books here, 700 Bitcoin, 2,000 Bitcoin, 2.2 thousand Bitcoin being sold off at the single prints up here. So single prints imbalances on the chart act very similar to a fair value gap. So that's a pretty advantageous level for someone to be taking a short. So we'll definitely keep our eye on this level. That's at around 64,800. Definitely got some big sellers, whereas the buying pressure isn't there quite as much. Does this mean that it's doom and gloom? No, I mean, these buyers and sellers, it just doesn't really matter. These are just a couple people in the order books, but overall it does show that there are more or less whales on the more short side of things rather than trying to a long current price action, which does make some sense, right? We're not at the lows or the highs of a potential retracement, but we saw a lot of big short sellers within this area at around 62,500, and they eventually just removed their orders and price was able to move up through them. So of course these guys can always remove their orders and price will move up through them, or it can just disrespect them and absorb those orders and continue on up. But yeah, outside of those few things here on the charts, still just very choppy price action in the middle of a range. Don't really have too much to go off of to say, are we bullish, are we bearish? We definitely want to see if we can break that. That would give us clear confirmation, or if we break down below, that would be a clear warning sign that that could happen. But of course, if we do come down here lower, that doesn't mean it's the end of the world. We got a lot of support down below us as well. We could be looking to actually bounce off of. Even the sweep of the sweep down here could still be bullish, but I will say, if we start hunting down lower, if we don't just hunt for all-time highs right now, if we start showing weakness, I would be a little bit more on the concern side of things just because of what the Fed is indicating. So we talked about unemployment rate, how this is coming down. This is looking really good, not really too concerning at all. Very bullish, in fact. But even though unemployment is coming down, the Fed does not trust the numbers that are being given. We go over here to CME Group, and they're predicting that the Fed is going to cut by another 50 basis points. If this was at a 93% chance of happening yesterday, they've revised it down to 86% chance, but it does look more or less guaranteed that in the next FOMC meeting on November 7th, they are going to be cutting by another 50 basis points, which shows that they are concerned about the economy. So they are trying to stimulate the economy, which is not good. Could show us that unemployment is actually worse than the numbers they're giving us. And this is definitely something we need to pay attention to. That is a big warning sign that we do have a potential recession on the horizon. Now let's get out of Bitcoin, go over here to the S&P 500, and you can see this is showing some weakness now. So we're starting to get some red candles here. Could this roll over? It definitely could, but we're still above all-time highs, right? We're still just back testing these previous highs, so nothing really too concerning over on the S&P 500. But overall, I mean, we are starting to come down a little bit. Still just within the range, but kind of making these lows a bit more poor would be expecting something like that even in a bullish scenario. A bit of a sweep down could indicate a bit of a sweep down on Bitcoin as well. So we'll see what does happen over here. Got to stay vigilant in the markets right now. I also wouldn't be surprised if the S&P just kind of trades sideways up here at all-time highs, and this is where you can see altcoins go on a big run. You can see your risk on assets fly, and then you have the top come in right around here. So we could already be kind of topped out on the S&P 500, but it could just be in a ranging environment while letting risk on fly up here at the highs. That's a very real possibility as well. We look at the Russell, however, and we do see a clear rejection off of this point of control. So we were not able to accept that volume. So we'll see what does in fact happen here. This is going to correlate more with your altcoin market, and we go ahead and look over here at the altcoin market. Structurally, this actually still looks very bullish. The breakout backtest of the descending channel on the shorter term time frames. We're just kind of stuck in the middle of no man's land right now. Not really at big resistance, but also not really at big support either. So I definitely think this is going to rely mainly on what Bitcoin can do. Let's see if we can reclaim the $620 billion market cap. And then that will be our signal that we can actually start this altcoin season. And you do see a lot of charts are shaping up. Something I just peeped the other day was DOT. I'm not invested in Polkadot or anything like that. I don't care much for super high market cap plays in the altcoin market, but definitely could be showing us that even coins like DOT that have very good fundamentals are already at the lows. They're ready for a rally, and even if it is going to be a retracement, we got some room to run here. So I'd say even in a bearish scenario, we're looking for a lot of these coins to actually start to rally to get up to these retracement levels, and I think there's a lot of room to run when it comes to the altcoin market, even in your more bearish scenarios, just because a lot of stuff has gotten beaten down throughout this range here on Bitcoin. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of bearish sentiment still. It's not exactly the most euphoric time in crypto, which could be giving us the signal that, hey, we are actually going to enter a more bullish time in the markets. We got some euphoria to return before that final top does come in, but still we need to remain cautious because we did see a lot of lower cap meme coins go absolutely parabolic. So there is euphoria out there. It's just not across the board. Many people are in pain right now, and when there's pain, it's usually the time to buy. When there's euphoria, it's time to sell. So we don't see euphoria across the board right now. That gives me hope for the future, and my base case remains the exact same. I'm thinking all-time highs is going to be here very shortly. But if you do have any questions about anything I talked about, or just want to join the community for this channel, link to my Discord is in the description down below. Also have a VIP Discord down there. Feel free to click on that, read through the bullet points, decide for yourself if you think it's worth the money or not. That is 25% off, by the way, and you can DM me on Discord if you have any questions about it. Also down in that description, you'll see a bunch of exchanges partnered with all of those. So if you want to get some cool bonuses and rewards, definitely use my referral links down there to sign up. But with that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video.